Hello, YouTube. I am Connor Nielsen,
And I'm Spencer Nielsen.
and this is CS Reviews, podcast
Yeah.
episode 5. Wow, right when I was about to start there, I was like, hello, YouTube. My birthday today, yeah!
One of the classics.
One of the classics. Alright, so it is Tuesday. I want to get our reviews all out on Tuesday from now on, so hopefully we can get them all out on Tuesday. Today, we're going to be talking about The Boy Next Door, Mordecai, and Strange Magic. Spencer, how was your week?
Well, my week is going very well.
Oh yeah, we only when was the last time we recorded? That was Thursday, right?
Yeah. We just had like the weekend pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm having a good week. I just got done with a speech in my public speaking class, which I got 110 out of 100 on.
Give the 110%.
You give it 110%. Thanks, Lou.
No. Thanks, Lou. So, yeah, my weekend was terrible, but, I mean, other than that, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, do you want to go into that, or are you choosing to not?
I'm choosing to not. I mean, what's it gonna serve? Because, I mean, we have 3 terrible movies to talk about. And, this is, one of those things where I'm like, I don't know, that's why I've been wanting to talk about these movies that were in limited release, and then get a wider release in January, like American Sniper, like Selma, like Paddington, because they're good movies, and I don't like having a bunch of negativity. I don't just like bashing movies, and you know what I mean? I don't like that. But sometimes, I mean, there were only 3 movies that came out this week, and there was one movie that came out that was in limited release and came out to wider release. That was Black Sea with Jude Law. We didn't have it at my movie theater, but I mean, these are the only 3 movies we had. They were all really, really bad. Spoiler alert: they came out in January. I mean, what did you expect? 4th weekend in January, and yeah, it's not over yet. I got 1 more week. So we're going to kick things off right now with a kind of a discussion review regarding... What should we start off with, Spence? Boy Next Door, because that was the first one we saw?
Yeah, I'd say let's go through the weekend.
Alright, so let's start off with The Boy Next Door.
Yeah.
Starring Jennifer Lopez as Claire Peterson. She's a high school classic literature teacher, and it's during the summer when the movie starts, and then this hunky kid played by Ryan Guzman moves in next door, and she's going through some tough times. Her husband cheated on her, they've been separated, and he's trying to come back into their life, she and her son's life, and one thing goes after another. And then she and the hunky boy next door, who's 19, he's of age,
Totally not creepy at all because he is.
They broadcast that throughout, as loud as they possibly can. He's 19, and then they have a night of passion, but then the passion becomes obsession. And then it turns out this boy next door is a crazy guy, and it becomes a really boring thriller. That's
the gist of it.
That's the gist of it. Spencer, tell us about The Boy Next Door, how you felt about it.
All right, so it's funny how you said that because we were actually talking about it. At this point in January, almost every year, at first we kind of go in there going, oh man, I hope we get to see a So Bad It's Good movie, but those are pretty rare. There's only maybe one of them a year. And other than that, it's, we don't want to be negative, but after a while, you're sort of going, okay, when are we going to get something good? And so I don't want to be negative at all, but this movie is not good. It is almost a guilty pleasure, but not. It doesn't really hit that mark. and then it's also it isn't a thrilling thriller either. So
I know what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah, so more than anything, this movie is super generic.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness.
yeah, and let's just like, I mean, it's almost like really nothing to talk about here because I really like to be kind of more positive. But so it's not so bad it's good. It doesn't rise to that level. I mean, we got lucky last year with Legend of Hercules.
Oh my goodness.
That
Yeah.
thing's genius. I mean, there's a couple so bad they're good moments, like when the kid starts acting crazy,
He turns
and
into a cartoon character.
it is, and it's like it's one of those creepy things where he's so polite and clean cut and handsome, but he's saying things like they're polite, but he's doing really awful, scary, homicidal things, and it's ironic and it's creepy, right? And no, it's more like funny than anything, but you're also just kind of rolling your eyes, going, okay, here we go again. He's got someone tied up. Like, yeah, thank you for inviting me to your house. I really appreciate it. It's very
May I call you by your first name? Thank you,
yeah,
first name.
and I think the biggest issue is this is Ryan Guzman isn't scary.
Oh no, he looks like someone we know uh, from our church, and he's one of the nicest guys ever. So the whole time I'm watching, going, this guy is like really not scary at all.
He looks like, well, how did I say that? He looked like if you took Channing Tatum and Ryan Reynolds and like stuck them together. That's not scary, you know. And yeah, he's got a hunky body, he's got a six pack, and you see his butt a lot, and it's all nice and flexed and tight and everything. And
Which is funny because the whole time I'm thinking, man, I'm 19, and I don't know anyone our age who that looks like that. So could they have possibly casted an older actor?
yeah, yeah, huh. I got. Let's just go down all these characters. The kid in the movie, so Jennifer Lopez's son, sucks. I hate this kid. And the way
Kevin.
Kevin, the way the movie starts, he says every line like this.
Mother, or Dad, he walked out on me.
Yeah,
But you just forgive him, Mom.
and then so that's all we need to talk about him. He
Yeah,
sucks.
okay. Then can then I think the closest thing we get to a so bad it's good performance is at the school Jennifer Lopez teaches at, Claire Peterson. That's her. Claire Peterson's the English teacher played by Jennifer Lopez. It's her boss, the vice principal.
I think they said.
Who's yeah, and she's also her best friend. And she's like they couldn't get Cameron Diaz, so they got because they spent the
Oh
budget
my
on J
god,
Lo.
you're right.
She's like the Cameron Diaz light, and that's not a good thing at all at that. And every like the opening scene, oh my gosh, where it shows her running and she's where we get the backstory while she's running, and she's talking to her friend afterwards, and we were both sitting there going like, wait, what is this girl for real? You know, he cheated on you. You can't forgive him. Are you saying that I should just give up on him? He's the father of my son. Well, I don't care. He disrespected you. It was terrible. Oh my goodness. So
Very, very on the nose, like generic dialogue. It just everyone expresses ideas. Ryan's just coming to them. It doesn't feel like a person saying things. It's like a screenwriter just kind of writing like the point of views of characters. Like, if you have a point of view and you're saying, man, I hope my friend doesn't, I want my friend to be strong, so, she doesn't have to deal with, like, this cheating husband, then, like, that's how the person talks. Like, man, I want to help my friend through this I want to help you through this tough situation so you can be strong and not go back to your cheating husband. That's how the dialogue is.
yeah, it and honestly the if I was to give it any sort of pro, like this is the good, it isn't awful to look at. It's shot competently, and there's a production value to it, even though it feels like a what's the word? Like an extended Lifetime movie. Feels like if a Lifetime movie had like a bigger budget.
No, I thought it was a lot. Like when you said like it's competently shot, but I mean, yeah. Congratulations, you're not Taken 3.
Connor, but we saw Taken 3. At least I'm giving it. It's better to watch than Taken 3 visually.
Yeah, okay. And next, we should probably talk about Jennifer Lopez's character. The character makes a huge mistake and really doesn't have any consequences.
Yeah. Okay. Because
That's the
another
big
thing about it.
problem with that is because like she's a character who knows she's screwed up and she spends the whole time just trying to hide a secret. And I'm like, you know what? This movie's gonna like obviously everyone's gonna find out, and then everyone's gonna like get on her about it, and she's gonna have like the 15-minute sequence where she's all sad and depressed. And then everyone's like, you know what? It's okay, and they all get together and pretend it never happened. Yeah, that never comes. It's like the movie ends right before that happens.
Well, yeah, because something I wanted to talk about was her husband. They're not divorced yet, and she doesn't want to divorce, but she feels like she needs to. Uh, he's very sorry. He's trying to make it up to her, and then but he just can't seem to get it right. Even though he's like they found the most likable actor, who reminds me of Chris Cooper if he was a little bit younger. And so he made a mistake, and she found out, and now he's fessed up, and now he's trying to figure out, oh well, you know. I'm sorry. He's trying to make it up to her. He wants to get back. And like, let's go back to what we had. And then she even says, you weren't the best wife at the time either. I'm not saying what I did was right, but we both need to grow from this. So at least he's trying to become a better person. I thought he was one of the only likable characters in the movie. Jennifer Lopez is.
When he's in the movie.
What?
Said when he's in the movie.
Oh yeah, when the husband character is in the movie. Yeah, but. Then at the spoiler alert, at the end when the boy dies and he just won't die, but he finally dies. He gets like squished, right?
Yeah. Well, they set off the slowest burning barn in the world.
Yes, and then they cut off like an anvil of. It reminds me of like a Looney Tunes. They cut an anvil like heavy thing and just squishes him. They go, all right. Then the husband who got shot is now in the back of an ambulance, and they write off the end. So wait, I know it's cliche to have those times where there's the whole they're sad and they must overcome it, but at the same time that helps provide some kind of arc. It's a cliche for a reason, and we don't even get that.
Yeah, it's the most contrived, generic way to have a character arc, but at the same time, it's still a character arc.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about let's talk about the action and because this is a thriller first and foremost, and it's not a good thriller at all. It's not I don't feel any fright for Jennifer Lopez. The kid isn't scary. The acting's really bad, but there was what this movie really does is that it doesn't want to do anything like at all. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, what is this movie doing, really?
Yeah, and so, I mean, the movie doesn't try anything dramatically. So there's like a moment early on where like they're in the middle of doing something. I'm trying to I can't exactly remember it, but like there's an opportunity for something to happen, and then it cheats its way out of doing that. And then I went, oh, so this movie isn't going to try anything. And then there's a moment where her husband and her son are out driving, and it's supposed to be an intense scene, and like the whole thing is, oh my gosh, are they going to get into a car crash and die? But like all the drama and tension and anything that it could have had is drawn out because it's poorly directed. But also we know this movie's already proven itself. It's not going to try any. It's not going to follow through with anything.
Yeah, and so then at the end when there's setting up a consequence, you're like, well, they're not going to do it because, I mean, the movie has already told us it doesn't have balls, so to speak. Like you said, like for you when you were talking to me, I didn't see Big Hero 6, but you mentioned that there came a point where, like in the beginning, they kill off the main character's brother. And so right there, it shows that the movie isn't afraid of killing people off. There are consequences in this world. In this movie, you're like, there's no stakes because the movie doesn't even prove itself that it is capable of doing something like that.
And you're so right. Like what you just said was like perfectly encapsulated it. The movie doesn't like. How did you say that? Like,
What?
oh, I thought I just saw something fall. Anyways, from behind me, but never mind. Yeah, but the movie doesn't want to go like. I don't know how you just said it, but you said it just fine. The movie like this is a movie that is entirely without consequence.
It has no
And
stakes.
yeah, it has no stake. Then that's the biggest problem with the movie.
Yeah, that's what keeps it being from thrilling.
And
So
therefore, it's so bad it's good.
yeah, therefore it's yeah.
The whole movie is really like, as you put it, the cinematic equivalent of a shoulder shrug. You're just,
Yeah. Oh, that's one of my sayings.
yeah.
So it's not very thrilling. There are times where it's so bad it's good, but not enough to keep you interested. The boy next door is staying at his great uncle's house, and whenever he's on screen, it's funny because it felt like I don't know if the director owed or the producer owed like their friend a favor, and then they wanted their dad to be or their grandpa to be in a movie, so they just kind of shoved him in, and whenever he's on screen, it's kind of funny. Oh.
No, but like what I thought was like, so the Jennifer Lopez, like when she was just trying to make it as as an entertainer, and then she had a really nice landlord who like kind of gave her a pass, and she's like, I'm gonna make this up to you, and now she's paying through with it. Hey, you want to be in The Boy Next Door? Yeah. Oh well, that's all I really have to say about it. It's a really kind of a blah movie. It's really bad.
Yeah, if you had to say anything and give anything positive for the movie, stay positive, Connor. January's almost over. But what would you give it? Like, I'm sorry. Throw this movie a bone. Play devil's advocate.
I can't.
Nothing about it entertained you even the slightest bit.
There was a couple moments where, like, if I wasn't in a theater that had people, I turned to you and I said, you know what? If there weren't people in this theater right now, I would be laughing like my head off right now. Because there are scenes where it's actually really kind of funny, bad. But we should. The movie also is like tries to be romantic at the beginning before it goes creepy, and the movie's neither romantic nor it's creepy. It's just always awkward, and the movie really just jumps the whale at the end of it. Like, it doesn't jump over a shark. It gets ridiculous. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of a 10. That's my score.
I would give it a 2 out of 10 myself.
All right.
It doesn't sink to the depths of Black Hat or I Frankenstein, but it's because it doesn't reach that level of bad. But it's hard to find anything salvageable. Because honestly, the reason why I wouldn't make this so bad as a good movie is because when we have like all the guys over a group of friends, we're not going to go, man, let's watch The Boy Next Door, because sort of after like a certain point, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this. It's not really entertaining me, even in a silly way, and the story isn't compelling at all. So 2 out of 10 for me.
All right. Am I lagging right now?
Nope.
You're kind of lagging a little bit. Oh well. Moving on to the next gem. Let's tackle Mordecai next. Spencer, talk about Mordecai.
Do I have to?
Fine, I will. Hey, did you see the Grand Budapest Hotel?
Yeah.
Okay, what if the Grand Budapest Hotel sucked? That's Mordecai.
Yeah. That's the best way. That's the best way to put it. It's really annoying. Can you please talk? It's hard to like try to find something to talk about in this movie.
Okay. So, Mordecai's about nothing. It's just about this overprivileged, very rich, snooty, arts dealer British guy mogul who's in debt and he's used to being a millionaire, and Paul Bettany and Gwyneth Paltrow and Ewan McGregor are in it, and it's just like kind of like this mad caper, so to speak, where oh my gosh, so this painting's gone missing. Well, I'm Johnny Depp, and I'm going to find it, and then I need a lot of money though, and then so they go and they just, and it's just like this big convoluted thing, and it's supposed to be funny, and it's not.
Yeah,
I
that's the best way to put it.
so
First and foremost, Johnny Depp. It's very much just another Johnny Depp vehicle. That's the only thing that's riding this thing along. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why it became like why it was even greenlit in the first place. It's a Johnny Depp vehicle. They said, okay, maybe this time you'll get money because he was a Pirates of the Caribbean. He was in it. Maybe this time it'll work, and it just doesn't. This movie bombed at the box office, thankfully, because who is this movie for, really?
I was really surprised when I saw the R rating on it, because the movie's like
Yeah.
colorful and it's got this zaniness and ha ha.
I want to talk about the rating actually. Well, first off, it's an R-rated movie, and we were sitting there, and they had advertisements for Adventureland and Inside Out.
Tomorrowland,
What did I say?
Adventureland.
Sorry, yeah, Tomorrowland. My bad. And yeah, so it had trailers for two family Disney movies, and or I'm going to assume Tomorrowland is kind of a family adventure, really. But it had two like Disney PG and lower advertisements. So I was like, okay, that's kind of strange. And then I remember, so before the movie, you reminded me that it was an R rating, and then throughout the movie, I was trying to like, wait, why is this an R rating? Okay, so they say the F word twice, which can be put into a PG-13 movie because they did that in Gattaca, which is PG-13. They said the F word twice, and there's some sexual dialogue, and that's about it.
The thing is, it was like it's a really just a the movie should have been PG-13 because I thought like it's risque and the sexual humor was so juvenile. It wasn't funny,
It
and
was very put on.
yeah, just a bunch of gags. And it's first and foremost, this is a movie. This is a comedy about the comedy. It's all about trying to make you laugh, and the movie didn't make me laugh one time. It is really, really annoying, and it just is irritating. And I can't express it though because the movie isn't funny. It's an unfunny comedy. You know, like what else can I really say about it? There's just another like every single time Johnny Depp would show up. And he would talk like this, and he had his British accent, and he was just like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so rich. Oh, I don't want to do anything because I'm overproud."
It's also very disheartening. That's not the right word. Just how unlikable this character is, and how often he's on screen. It's a his accent. I thought would stop being annoying after a while, but it doesn't. It continues to grate and to grate. This was obviously written with the whole mustache fad. You know how girls like, oh, I'm into mustaches now, so they'll just like draw a mustache on their finger, or they'll just draw mustaches on stuff. They'll buy that. It's like a hipster thingy-mabob, I don't know. And that's kind of dying out, or it's been dead for a while. And so I guess this was, when this was made, it was sort of in that, oh my gosh. So they definitely want to pay attention. Hello, my name is Charlie Mordecai, and this is my mustache.
The whole mustache joke refused to die, and it was the least funny thing about this repulsively unfunny movie.
Yes. Well, I want to ask you, what do you think was more annoying, his mustache or the really annoying gag reflex joke?
Well, they're both part of the same joke.
Well, sometimes they were.
No.
Because at the end, when there's someone, remember at the end when the bad guy poisons the
Oh.
and then it's just, then everyone's throwing up, and then he has to walk through going, I have a sympathy for the gag reflex.
I will say the mustache joke is worse because we had to endure more of the mustache joke.
Yeah, he thought they were equally annoying.
Um, Johnny Depp is bad. He's not good in this movie. He gives a bad performance. His character is not good. He's a terrible character. We know nothing about him, and what was the biggest frustration about this movie is I couldn't tell if I was supposed to be laughing with this character or at this character, and the movie didn't really seem to know either. So I had nothing to really laugh at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With it was just unfunny.
Yeah, well, here I'm just gonna go down I'm just gonna go down the list of characters. There's Mordecai, played by Johnny Depp, who is annoying and unlikable, and you want to root against him, but who is there to root for? On the other hand,
Everyone is unlikable.
yeah, there's Gwyneth Paltrow, who's annoying and is unlikable. You know, I guess they kind of deserve each other, and she's really annoying. And then there's Ewan McGregor, who's a pansy and is very annoying, and he's unlikable because he just wants to get with Gwyneth Paltrow, which is very which doesn't really go anywhere, and is just there to sort of be like, oh, it's kind of like, ooh, it's dealing with some sort of sexual sort of taboo, so therefore laugh at it. And we're like, well, no, it's not funny. I don't care for any of these characters. Why would I want them to I don't even care enough to pick a side.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So Ewan McGregor, and he's just wasted. I feel bad for Ewan McGregor. That guy needs a hit.
Then there's Paul Bettany, who I feel even worse for because Paul Bettany was the best part of Transcendence, which also had Johnny Depp, and that was a awful movie. He was in Legion. He was in The Knight's Tale. He's the best part of these not good movies, and I think I want him to be in a good movie. Hopefully Avengers will work for him. So, but the thing with his character was he is like a guy who he's very faithful, and we're supposed to be laughing because he's like a manservant who do things and get in danger, and then Mordecai doesn't understand how great he's not as grateful as he should be for this very loyal.
And takes advantage of him.
What?
And he takes advantage of him.
And he takes advantage of him all the time, and we're supposed to find that funny, but no, you're like, okay, and then the whole joke with Paul Bettany is he beds a lot of women. He's constantly having sex with a lot of girls. That's his joke. And that's not really funny. Oh, look it, there's a girl going, oh, Jacques, come back. He's like, that wasn't funny. And so...
Well, that I think got the closest to me at a laugh, just because there's the whole, there's a part where a scene opens where he's talking with Mordecai, and they're sort of chatting a little bit, and then some girl in the next room goes, Jacques, and he goes, and then, because then Johnny Depp's like, what? And then Paul Bettany just kind of goes, and I thought that was the most, that had out of anything else in this movie, I thought that had the best comedic timing of anything, so that was the closest I'd give to a funny moment.
And so, going back to Johnny Depp's awful performance of a terrible character, he has all these little quirks and all these little ticks that just add to annoying. And he always goes like, and those little yeah, just and then there's the whole joke of the Russians saying balls. Well, that's not funny, and it's very difficult to talk about this because all I'm going to be saying is, well, that wasn't funny. Well, that wasn't funny. Well, that wasn't funny. That's all you can really say. It's shot. I mean, it's the color palette's decent,
Yeah. But the cinematography gets so lazy because it's almost decent cinematography. But then you'll just kind of notice there's a car coming around a corner and it tracks it, and then it tries to go back to catch the other car coming around the corner, which in itself is a very lazy. Oh, we don't feel like taking another shot or getting another angle or cutting or anything. So, and then by the time the other car is turning around the corner, it's already in the middle of turning. So it just feels like they went, oh yeah, let's film that. Okay, now let's move on. This movie is lazy and it's rushed, just like the way it was filmed, just like the way it's acted, just like the way everything in this movie is. It feels like you're not even watching a real movie.
There was a certain point where I turned to her and said, "I don't know how much longer I can take of this."
That was like half an hour in.
Was it?
Yeah,
No.
or,
I
or
don't know.
45 minutes in.
What?
I said that or like 45 minutes in.
I don't know how much longer. Like, I don't really have anything more I can say about it other than it was so unfunny.
Yeah, I think beyond being unfunny, it's just annoying. Don't watch it. No one else has.
Yeah, I'm giving this a 1.5. It is a terrible experience watching this movie.
Yeah. I'd personally give it a 3. I don't think it. Again, I don't think it sinks super low. I think it's. I'd give it. I think it's a little bit better than The Boy Next Door. Well, no, I think never mind. I think judging it on its own terms, it's a 3 out of 10, personally.
Okay. And then that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought Boy Next Door and Taken 3 were pretty much just as bad as each other, but I gave Taken 3 a 2, and then I gave Boy Next Door a 2.5. Well, I mean, that's because, again, ratings are like relative and not absolute. So,
Yeah. So you give it a 1.5. I'd give it a 3. Don't see it.
yeah,
It's not good.
right.
Right. So
Yeah.
moving on, we have from the mind and wallet of George Lucas, we have
Strange
Strange Magic.
magic, got a strange magic, got a strange magic. Oh, no, no. I like the ELO song "Strange Magic."
Yeah.
Uh,
So Strange Magic is a animated movie from ILM in Lucasfilm that is loosely based off William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, and it's about these two kingdoms that are both like mystical. One's the dark forest, and there's the fairyland. And on the down the middle, primroses grow. The problem is primroses can make love potion, and love makes everyone nuts. So it turned because there's this princess who was uh, whose fiance cheated on her the day of the wedding. She's now very vengeful. She's scorned, and now she forbids to fall in love and is turned into a tough chick. Meanwhile, her ex-fiance wants her back and has the girl's sister's friend, who's an elf, voiced by wannabe Chris Rock, go into the to get to make it to find a primrose and go to the sugar plum fairy who is inside of the forest to make a love potion, and hijinks ensue.
oh, and there's a Bog King.
Oh yeah, and the bad guy's called a Bog King, voiced by Alan Cumming. So, Connor, what did you think
It
of?
was a musical. You totally glossed over that.
Oh yeah, it is a musical. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I actually there was not a lot of people in the theater, so I like was keeping notes underneath my shirt on my phone of what songs. I think there was like 18 total songs, but don't think like what they keep doing is they like recycle songs. Like they'll like have one character like the Bog King. He's evil, so what does he sing? 'Cause I'm evil. My middle name is Misery. He'll like just sing that. He'll just sing the chorus, then leave, and then he'll come back into another place.
Yeah, they reprise certain songs a lot, especially Sugar Pie Honey Bunch.
Oh, that got annoying.
Annoying after the first time, but then they continue to do it like 5 more times, and it's really, really not good.
And how many times do you think they did? Falling in love with you.
Oh my gosh, so
Over
much.
and over and over and over again.
So just how did you feel about Strange Magic?
I really don't like this. But unlike Boy Next Door and unlike Mordecai, I actually have something positive to say about this. And I'm glad I actually do have something I liked about this, which was the animation. I really, really, really liked the animation here. I thought it was unique, it looked very good, it was textured very nicely, and it had its own distinct visual style. I liked the animation. I liked it. Everything else I didn't like. It started off and like it got like so bad it's good. Like there was a moment where it just settled in. I was like, "This is for real? Like what?" And we couldn't stop laughing. And then once like that kind of the so bad it's good weird stuff kind of got through and it got very conventional. Like the story really came in. It got bad. Like it was very difficult to watch. Um,
Yes, yes, it very
you
much.
almost walked out at that point, and none of the music is all the orchestrations and all the arrangements are very bland, and they're not sounded very good because everyone's putting on a weird voice and everyone does their own weird thing, and everyone else, they're putting on their fake voices, and then they have to sing in that, and they're trying to be funny, but it doesn't sound good on a musical level. Um, the music itself is like very like it just puts everything screeches everything to a halt so they can have their song. And another funny thing is I always called the Phantom Menace A Midsummer Night's Dream by George Lucas because I actually don't like the play A Midsummer Night's Dream. I know a lot of people are angry at me for that, but I really don't like that play. I think it is convoluted, really not funny. Not I don't like any like it's basically all the same problems as a Phantom Menace. There's
There's
no
no
main
character
character.
room.
It's all about this love MacGuffin, and I always say George Lucas made A Midsummer Night's Dream with Episode One, The Phantom Menace, except he replaced love with tax disputes. And I guess George Lucas must have heard that, or he just really likes Midsummer Night's Dream because he's like, oh, I'm going to develop this story that's loosely based off of the Midsummer Night's Dream. And like this is very obviously you can see the inspiration, but it's very loosely based off of that play.
There's two different worlds. There's fairies and there's a love hijinks subplot.
Yeah, and yeah. But I think what really like more than anything hurts this movie is how um, aggressively annoying the characters are. Um, just about every character is it's almost like abusive how annoying they are. Because like there's that little elf who has this voice and he just says everything and it's just don't worry about a thing because every little thing I'm gonna be alright. It's just
That's like his theme song, man.
right.
Don't jive on it.
And so like but everyone has to put on these weird voices and they aren't really funny and everyone just kind of has their own joke and none of the joke they're just like little gags that get repeated over and over again. And there's no like real joke. There's no like clever like setup and then payoff. Like Paddington was so good. And another thing that I didn't like was oh, I lost it. Never mind.
Right. Well, the thing is about this movie is there's so much to complain about, but honestly, I think this is the best movie of the year so far, and that's kind of saying something. What about this movie? I will start off on positives. Um, I feel that first and foremost, the animation is stunning. It is gorgeous. The colors are vibrant. The textures pop. It is definitely a wondrous on a visual level. And I think that the character of the villain, when he is the main kind of focus, when his plot is sort of the what's front and center for the viewer to watch, I think is actually kind of compelling to a certain point. I think Alan Cumming, when he's not kind of saying gags and whatnot, when he actually has a character to present, it kind of comes to life, and I thought he did a good job with that. I think that
15 minutes in the third act where it actually did kind of start to develop an Alan Cumming like is really good voice actor. Like that's when I was actually like, oh, this is actually kind of serviceable. There's a god awful rendition of Strange Magic, which I love ELO's Strange Magic, and it was like, oh man, but anyways, that was the best part of the movie.
yes, and I feel that his there's a budding romance between her and the main character, And while it is predictable, I do it is sweet. Aw shucks, that's kind of nice. So I think the third act kind of picked up a little bit for like the end of the second act, beginning of the third act, or like halfway through the most of the way through the third act. I thought it was nice, but that doesn't excuse now getting to the negatives. The very poor music choices. Some of them just don't make sense and they're really bad. It's poorly sung. It the voice acting for the most part is very awkward and clunky, and the characters are very annoying. The bad guy's mom. Oh my gosh! Oh, you're gonna find love. My life is flashing before my eyes. Say, I was hot.
Well, yeah, it's like the Jewish mother stereotype. Oh, and another bad thing that I remembered it was the dialogue is really bad. There's like a part where like the everyone just like says these lines that are like the most generic, copy and paste, insert, cliche here kind of dialogue. Like there's a part where she's all tough now, and she's like, I can't remember what she says, but she's like, I'm going to get him, and then flies off. And that's supposed to be like, what? You're supposed to kind of have like this, oh yeah, that's cool kind of vibe. Like, oh yeah, she's so cool, but it's really like everyone has like those lines where the bad guy goes, "Get me the potion by Moondown," and it feels so copy and paste, and the dialogue isn't good, and it's really awkward the way it's delivered. You can tell like the people who recorded the stuff were in different rooms. Um, yeah, that's my other big problem.
Yeah, and the ending is kind of drawn out. But I will say this about the ending: you didn't like it and thought it drawn out.
It was
Um,
way too drawn out.
yeah, and I thought that it could have took a risk. I knew it wasn't, but I wish it did, and it didn't. But then the thing about the ending is all the plot points come to a head, and then they all kind of explain themselves and try to work themselves out. And as much as I thought it was kind of cliche and whatnot, it does feel Shakespearean. I mean, that's what kind of happened. That's what happens in the Midsummer Night's Dream and a lot of Shakespeare comedies. So I felt add something that had some kind of creative thing to it.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was an idea.
This. By the end of the movie, I was like, you know what? I can understand why somebody would want to make this movie. Look, I get why people had an investment in making this, and for that reason, it's probably the best movie we've seen so far this year.
Yeah. Yes. That's all I have to say about it.
I don't have much to say about this either. But no, you know what you're forgetting? So like you hated this movie.
Oh right. Yes. I wanted to. Okay. Let's divide this into 3 acts. Okay.
No. There's one thing you're forgetting. They
I
do
know. I will get to that.
where somebody says.
Where somebody says what?
So they do the stuff where somebody does something and everyone's like just stares at them, and then somebody will just say, "Awkward." Lowest common denominator, dumb as rocks, hit your head off the mallet comedy. Like that's like somebody just going, really? And then they have a joke like that, and then you see an actual cricket, and they're just a bunch of groaners.
Yeah. But the thing is, but the thing that really got me was, so there's the first act, which is like so bad it's good territory because it's so bizarre to watch at first. But then I leaned over to you and I said, "Man, this peaked way too early." Because then the novelty wears off, and then the second act is so painful to watch. I almost walked out, especially at a point where Sonny the elf, voiced by wannabe Chris Rock, he has to go get the love potion himself, and then he's teamed up randomly with some big, low, dumb voice elf who we never see ever again. He's only in this one scene. And, like, there's the love potion. There's an imp who stole the love potion, and it's like the analog for Puck, and it's sort of, spreading the love. And then Crazy Little Thing Called Love happens, and it's sung by the guy with the low voice. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was so close to just getting up and going. But it was pretty to look at, and that's like that's all I held on to for the second act.
Yeah. Um. Whew. Oh well, I'm giving this movie a 3.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd give it a 4. It really kind of turns up for a little bit, and I did like certain. I thought a couple of characters kind of worked well together, and it's beautiful to look at. So that's my defense for giving it a 4.
All right. Well, that's it. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about Strange Magic.
Yeah, dude,
So,
January's almost over. Just one more weekend.
one more week. Next time, we are going to be tackling um, Project Almanac
Yeah.
by Platinum Dunes, which is Michael Bay's production company. The movie was actually supposed to come out last year. I saw a trailer for this movie called Welcome to Yesterday, and then they changed it, and then they changed it to Project Almanac, and then moved it to a later date in January. And it's like a found footage time travel movie, and I really don't want to see this movie at all. Yeah, like 1 year ago, the 5th week, that's when we got that awkward moment, which was excruciating. And then also next week we're getting The Loft.
Which is another movie that was supposed to come out like a long time ago and is now getting a release. Hey Connor, welcome to yesteryear.
That was a clever
Whoa.
one. Yeah, that's about as funny as Strange Magic. So,
Maybe I can write a script now.
we have The Loft, and the trailer for The Loft is hilarious because they say like January 2 times in the trailer. So if they're like basically begging you to not watch the movie. And the movie just looks very convoluted. Like it has an interesting setup, and then like you kind of see where the movie's going based off of the trailer, and you're like, that's so generic and really kind of convoluted and what. It's actually a remake of a remake.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's The Loft, which I don't know what movie it was made, which country it was made in. And then I think there was like a French remake. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was a French remake. And then now we remade The Loft, which is apparently supposed to come out in like '08, like 2010, something like that. And then it got pulled and then moved because apparently it's awful. And then if we get the chance, we'll probably go see Black or White, starring Kevin Costner. Oh well.
There's more to family than color.
Yeah, that's going to be awkward talking about like racial stuff because a lot of that stuff gets kind of political, and this is movies, so we're probably just going to talk about it as a movie, and yeah, oh well. So I don't really have anything else to say. We saw 3 terrible movies.
As I would say, we saw some terrible movies and a bad movie.
Okay.
Depends who's talking.
Yeah, and yeah, that's all I really have to say.
Yep, that's all I have to say as well.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. I got to get going to a class, so
All right, well, this has been CS Reviews, and this is us signing off.
see
Have
ya.
a good week.